Hey, buddy. Oh,
Hey, you
connecting
hear
to
me?
audio. There he is.
Yo, what's going on, man?
Just having a drink.
It's having a drink, eh?
Yeah. It's been like the number one survival tactic for the pandemic. Oh, you're doing the same.
Yeah, of course.
Right
Of
on.
course. See, I'm just having a drink at the garden, man.
Yeah, the God.
That's
I
right,
love
man.
that. I love it. We did a Zoom call before, and I had like the background with, so it looked like I was on like some beach in Cuba or whatever.
That's
But
awesome.
yeah, that was my brilliant moment there. So what have you been doing like during the whole stay at home to stay positive and healthy?
Hitting the weights, man, and try not to stay too glued to the news and stuff like that. And when I do look at it, I'm checking that, good sources and stuff like that. I'm not going down any rabbit holes or anything like that. So keeping pretty even keeled, and there's a lot of good going on in the world too. So been
Yeah.
actually watching that some good news with John Krasinski. If you haven't seen that, definitely recommend checking that out. He's been pretty awesome through all this. How about yourself? What have you been doing?
Well, I've been doing some Udemy courses. They had a flash sale, and I completely splurged and bought probably I don't even know how many, 8, 9, maybe 10 courses. And there's two topics like I'm doing some music mixing, producing, mastering, and those are broken down into a few. And then on the other hand, I was working on some fitness, nutrition, and dieting. But yeah, I've been hitting the weights too. I don't have a nice gym like you do, but what I do have, I'm making the most out of it. So whatever I
Yeah,
can do
man.
just to keep the blood pumping.
Exactly. Anything you can do to get it in.
Yeah. Yep. And then
That's
of
that's
course some of this.
of course, man. That's good. Sounds like you've been keeping busy and learning and
It's
trying to
good.
come out of this better for wear than going into it.
It's good to see that people are finding ways to make the most out of this instead of just sitting around and being negative. Like, you know, families are spending more time together, and I know like the homeschooling thing's a little bit of a like kind of a thorn in some parents' side. It's not easy, of course, but um, there's a lot of good things that come out of this. Well, here's an example. My oldest stepdaughter, she's starting a new career because of this. She got an opportunity to work for a company and like a software developer company. They do software developing and other things, but she's going to be getting in there and getting trained eventually to help with some of that work. But in the meantime, it'll be like a lot of administrative work. But it's a good opportunity, and that literally materialized out of the fact that she's been at home looking for a new direction, because what she was working in food service, she's just not confident she's going to be able to jump back in and make the money she was making.
That's awesome, man. Good for her.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people sitting at home thinking about what to do different in their lives now that you know what I mean. People that maybe weren't happy with their jobs before, or maybe took them for granted, or stuff like that. You know what I mean? I think it's a good time to be reflecting on everything and the choices everybody makes.
It is a good time to make a fresh start. Um, I just think like the opportunity, if it comes, you should take it. You know, for anybody.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah, I'm not planning on becoming a music producer or anything like this. The things that I'm learning are all just for my own understanding, and obviously I take an interest in those things, so I might
Of
as well
course.
educate myself, and it's fun. I'm enjoying it, and it keeps your mind fresh, keeps your ears fresh, and everything like that. So, yeah.
Absolutely, man. And like music being your passion, you're helping yourself, in the long run with your recordings and stuff.
And then, of course, there's the COVID-19 cooking challenge. We should bring that up really quickly.
Oh yeah. You want to explain that to everybody since you're one of the participants in it?
Yeah. So a couple of our friends have decided to organize what they call the COVID-19 cooking challenge. They dropped off little packages with various ingredients, and everybody who's in the, actually, it's not, there's 5 contestants, but Cody, your mom is one of them, of course.
Yeah.
And then a mutual friend of ours, and then some other close family people. So it's one of those cooking challenges where you basically just, you have to use everything that's there and get creative and think outside the box. So that is actually going to be tomorrow, Friday, May the 1st. We'll be bringing the dishes in the afternoon. I like the fact that they've gone as far as to say, well, let's everybody make videos.
Yeah.
Um, and then we'll, do something. So of course, me with all the video editing software and that too, I thought maybe after all is said and done, I could throw something together that would be kind of funny for everybody.
That'd be awesome. How about what are some of the ingredients that you guys had to use?
We've got a can of Spam, a bag of like those dried, like fried onions, like the dried ones. Then we've got a tangerine, a bag of microwave popcorn, a packet of frozen Brussels sprouts, a Twinkie, and then Sandy also put in her hot sauce, which is called Oh My Heck. It's very, very hot. Another thing, I guess we could quickly touch on is how, like entertained ourselves with gaming and movies and stuff. Like, what have you watched that you want? I'll ask you this question. Was there something that you had on a list of movies that you wanted to watch, and now you're finally like, oh, I can do this. I can spend, a couple days just burning through this, whatever.
Well, first I'll touch on the video games that we've been playing a lot. Playing hockey, and you finally beat me.
Yeah,
got the lead, and haven't let me live it down since. But that's all right. I'll get the title back. Also, I'm a level 336 Dark Elf in Elder Scrolls. No big deal. I'm sure everybody's thinking I'm a big nerd now. But for the movies, though, I wanted to watch Avengers Endgame pretty bad. So that's when I finally had 3 hours to watch it. I thought that one was incredible. What an all-star cast and just a total blockbuster.
Yeah.
I don't want to spoil anything for anybody that hasn't seen it, but that's a good one. Definitely check it out.
You do realize you're the last person on earth to see Endgame, so
yeah, probably. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. But it was. I'm glad nobody spoiled that one for me because I was pretty happy with how they finished that one off. It was awesome. My mom finally got me to watch her favorite movie, Bohemian Rhapsody. I thought that one was incredible as well. Another one I watched too is Manchester by the Sea with Casey Affleck. Thought that was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
And I love the fact that Ben Affleck gets all the accolades and then Casey just sneaks in an Oscar off that one. How about you? What have you been watching, man?
Watching wise, I found this YouTube channel and I watch like old hockey games at night, like from the 70s and 80s. And, he posts a wide spectrum going back to about the mid 70s and up to like, early 2010, 2012. It's the channel is just every day he seems to be uploading 2 or 3 new games. So the other night I watched it was a playoff game, Calgary and Edmonton, like in 1983. I've watched a few Boston ones. I've watched one against the Blackhawks. These are all games from the 80s, when Neely was on the ice.
Of course, the Hat Killer,
just
number 8 himself.
And watching him, it's reminiscing. You remember there was a time when there was nothing on the boards. They were all white.
Oh, yeah, man.
It's so weird to see that again. But yeah, that's really that. And, whatever, if Iris wants to watch something, like she's binging the Buffy series again for probably the 8th or 9th time. and her little one watches that with her. And I've seen all the Star Wars movies so many times. It's embarrassing to admit.
That's actually one that I've also went back and watched too. Because I haven't seen the last one yet. So I went back and I watched all of those, and I'm excited for the latest one to drop on Disney Plus. I think May the 4th, right?
Yeah, Star Wars Day. They're dropping that, and they're also dropping the Mandalorian documentary, which I'm expecting at some point they'll give something about season 2. They might have some footage or a trailer for season 2 that they would release at that time too.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I still got to finish The Mandalorian, but I was pretty impressed with what I've seen so far.
That show, everything about that show to me has the future of Star Wars written all over it because of the people who are involved with it. It's a great show. The actors are great and everything, don't get me wrong. But the writers, the directors, the producers, the people who are involved there have the right framework and the right passion to take Star Wars and make it better.
Besides, I know your highlight was definitely beating me and Chell. You probably party like you won the Stanley Cup after that.
Highlights or lowlights? Well, I mean, like lowlights, one of the lowlights is like I'm one of those daily shoppers. Like have done for years, where I just go to the grocery store 3, 4, 5 times a week. It's part of my routine. So, that way we're always eating fresh food, and that's just how I am. If I don't have to throw meat in the freezer, I won't. I have a freezer, and if it's on sale, I will. But I guess it's a lot of that spur of the moment stuff. Well, what do you want to make for dinner? I'm kind of feeling ribs. We don't have any. That's fine. I'll run to the store. Well, I just won't. I'm not doing that right now. It's going to the store is a process now. So it's like, okay, guess what? Going to the store. Let's put a list together.
Absolutely, you got to be very strategic now and make the most of it.
Yeah, I'm home all day and probably eating more than I should. I'm surprisingly have lost weight, due to the exercise, of course. But it's been fluctuating too. I'll be honest. I was down 7 pounds, and then I gained 3.5, and then I was back down 2. Like, those are pretty extreme fluctuations. So it's down. But of course, I'm doing everything to keep my mental health.
Yeah, that's good, man.
Because that kind of stuff sneaks up on you.
For sure.
Like, you just wake up one day and you're like in a completely different frame of mind.
Absolutely, man. I would say my low light of this is that I haven't been able to go visit my Oma like I usually do, which has been tough. But when my mom goes there, she video calls me for her. So I've been video calling my grandmother, which is actually very cool. And it's good that we're still able to keep in touch like that. But that's probably the hardest thing right now for me going through this.
You're right. You're not being able to see your family, because we do like window visits, but it's obviously not the same standing out on the front lawn yelling at them through the window. Hey, how are you?
Absolutely, man. It's tough not to give those people a hug or a kiss, when you see them.
It is. It's very difficult. I guess I just try to put that out of my head and think we'll get there. So as far as my dad goes, I see him on occasion because he's alone. Like, you want to talk about mental health concerns? Like, I talk to him on the phone 2 or 3 times a day, but
that's good, man. He's lucky to have you looking out for him, and
he is very responsible if he does have to go anywhere, with his hand sanitizer and all that. So you want to talk about the biggest highlight of quarantine, and I know it was the Boston Bruins had been replaying the games from the 2011 playoff run, and the absolute peak was the Mount Everest of Zoom calls.
Of course, probably the best one in the history of all Zoom calls, hands down. Just saying.
Sure. They had all the Bruins from the 2011 Stanley Cup team, with the exception of Nathan Horton, I believe.
Yeah, he was the only one
on a
that wasn't
huge
there.
Group call. They watched Game 7 together, and we watched Game 7 with them, essentially.
Yeah, in a Zoom call as well, while watching them and the game.
Yeah.
Everyone, you look now. I'll take that as a compliment, actually.
Thanks, Sue.
I like you guys. Sorry.
We're having a good time. Eh, Sue?
A problem?
We love you, Sue. We love you.
Except for Catch, guys. Easy, Sue.
Yeah, it was a technological marvel we created that night.
It was. And let's just say the boys were getting after it. They were, that's a side of them you don't see too often when they're all drinking the way they were.
Oh, I loved it. I mean, it's as sad as it is to say, you felt like you were actually a part of the conversation at times.
Yeah, it was total locker room feel.
Oh, yeah, and candid. Like, I mean, Luch crushed a bottle of wine and then just, I love you guys, man. Like,
Yeah. Marshy and Gregory Campbell just going after each other the whole time.
That was, Greg Campbell had the upper hand. That was like a street fight where Campbell laid the boots to him for like 5 minutes after it was over. Like, he pummeled him.
For sure. And for those that don't like Marshy, and I'm sure they would probably have loved that dynamic.
Oh, absolutely.
That Gregory Campbell's kind of the older guy and kind of just giving it to Marshy, who was a rookie at the time, basically on that team. And it was pretty awesome to see.
So, looks like I'm just about out.
I'm at that point too, buddy.
That was cool. I don't know if there's anything else to say before I let you go. that was a good conversation. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was nice catching up with you, man.
Feels,
Having a
it
drink.
feels good to have human. Like, I mean, obviously, I talk with my family, but it's good to have outside contact, just to get a fresh perspective on things and see how everybody's doing. And I love this format for being able to do that.
For sure. I'm really, I've really been impressed with this Zoom app, and I could see myself using this going forward and, learning the ins and outs of it.
Yep. Same. I guess one of the things before we go is for anybody who's watching this, maybe just say thank you to all of the people if you're involved in the essential services, or of course, your frontline workers in the medical field, and
of course, man,
and that supply chain keeps moving.
Absolutely, they're the real superheroes in all this.
Definitely. So yeah, I guess I don't know. We could do this on a regular basis.
For sure, man.
And catch up.
Absolutely. Cheers to that, my man.
Cheers. Oh, I got just enough for
a quick cheers. Yep. And I'll get my on there. Oh,
there it is. So yeah, I mean, if we did this every week, we should probably maybe give it a name. Does that sound like a good idea, or just?
That sounds good, man. Did you have any ideas?
My idea was to come up with a name, so you can come up with a name.
But just a quick drink with Cody and Scott, man.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Short and sweet, and basically what it is. No, no smoke and mirrors there.
Yeah, nobody needs to know how strong the drink is that I mix. It's just a drink.
That's right, a single drink.
All right, I like it.
All right, buddy. Sounds good. I'm out of beer, so I'm gonna go get another one, and I'll leave you at that, my man.
All right.
All right. Peace, brother.
See you, man.